good. All right. Let me thank the DJ Shay Harley for the music. Jessica Bright for her words, and Miracle Jenkins for her cue pitch. And let me thank the Representative Cesar McKnight for all that he's doing in the legislature and for his support. And let me thank Senator Nina Turner. And let me thank Terry Alexander, also in the legislature. And all the other elected officials who are here. And one of the banes of my existence is I always have to follow the internal. It's a hard thing to do. But let me pick up where Senator Turner left off. And then what she essentially asked you to do is to think outside of the box, to reject the status quo, to look at the world in a different way than Congress and the media suggest that we do look at the world. Not to accept what is given to you, but to go into your hearts and ask yourselves, where do we want to go as a people? What is the moral thing? What is the right thing to do? And then ask, how do we go from here to there? We live in a political system which is corrupt. Strong word. What does that mean? What do I mean when I say the current political system is corrupt? All right, that's one thing. It means that any of you had a couple of $1 billion, you can announce, and I know many of you do. I'm sure this room is loaded with billionaires. It's usually the audience that we attract. Any one of you can announce your candidacy for president, you would be taken seriously, even if you were the dumbest person on earth. If you got $1 billion, you buy a watch. And the media would cover you extensively because you can spend unlimited amounts of money buying TV ads. What else about the current, besides big money dominating the political process, not just billionaires, it's running for office, it is billionaires being able to spend hundreds of millions of dollars donating it to candidates who represent the wealthy and the powerful. What else about the current political system makes it corrupt?
Justice system.
All right, you got an electoral college. It's good. Last I heard, Donald Trump lost the general election by 3 million votes. But he is in the White House. Something doesn't quite make sense about that. What else about the current political system? There you go. All right, you got voter suppression. All right. If you believe in democracy, which I do and I know all of you do, what you understand is our goal as a nation is to make it easier for people to vote so that we can have the highest voter turnout of any major country on earth, that we can be proud. We're a democratic country, and we got 70-80% of our people voting. But that is not what we have. And in fact, you got governors all over America, Republican governors, who are working overtime to suppress the vote, to make it harder for people to vote rather than easier for people to vote. And the reason for that is they understand that when more people vote, they are more likely to lose. So I say to those cowardly Republican governors, if you don't have the guts to participate in free and fair elections, If you don't think you can win an election based on your ideas, get the hell out of politics and get another job. But it's not just a corrupt political system that needs to be completely overhauled. It is a rigged economy. All right, what do I mean by a rigged economy? Raise your hand. All right, that's for, I would say that's part of a rigged political system. What is a rigged economy? Day-to-day life for millions of people. What does it mean? Yes, there. Stand up. Good. All right, great slavery. All right? All right. They see it. No, I'm not letting you off so easy. I'm a tough teacher here, man. You gotta deliver. What does that mean, wage slavery? Good. All right? Now, let me ask some of you right here. What are some of the wages some of you guys are making right here in South Carolina? Who wants to tell me? Yes, ma'am. $8 an hour. How much? $7.50 an hour? $7.25. You got the real minimum wage there, huh? All right. Does anybody think that anybody can live on $7.25, $8, or $9 an hour? Okay. Okay. That is what wage slavery is about. People are working, and they're not going anywhere. They're working, and maybe they're going more into debt. Maybe they're working 2 or 3 jobs. And still living below the poverty level. Right, because healthcare costs are going up, education costs are going up, housing costs are going up. So when we think outside of the box, the proposition that we put out there is to say that if somebody in America is working 40 hours a week, that person should not be living in poverty. And here is the truth. Here is the facts. That right now in this country, which is the wealthiest country in the history of the world, half of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. You all know what that means. I grew up in a family that lived paycheck to paycheck. I know what that means. It means if your car breaks down, you wonder how you're going to get it fixed. If you don't get it fixed, you can't get to work. If you can't get to work, you lose your job. Lose your job, ain't going to be able to take care of your family or pay for the light bill. That's living paycheck. Half of the people in the country are living paycheck to paycheck. But what else is going on in the economy? Everybody living paycheck to paycheck? Everybody struggling? What's the other side of the equation? What about the people on top? How they doing? Raise your hand. Yep, sir. Yep. Stand up. That's right. All right. Well, wealthy people are doing very, very, very well. More about the rich. How they do? Okay, I want some more hands here. Yeah, stand up. You got 3 people in America who own more wealth than about half of America. You have more income and wealth inequality today than any time since the 1920s. You got 49% of all new income going to the top 1%. In the last 30 years, the top 1% have seen an increase in their wealth of $21 trillion. Bottom half of America has seen a decline in its wealth. So what you're looking at is an economy in which the people on top doing phenomenally well, while tens of millions of workers are struggling to make ends meet. So what we are going to do about this when we are in the White House is we're going to raise the minimum wage in this country to $15 an hour. We are going to end the absurdity of women making 80 cents on the dollar and black women making 60 cents on the dollar compared to white men. And we're going to make it easier for workers to join unions. And given the fact that there is so much work that needs to be done in America, our infrastructure is collapsing. We need great teachers, and I hope many of you will think about teachers. We need great child care workers. There is an enormous amount of work to do, and what I believe is we should have a guaranteed federal jobs program available to anybody who is able to do it. The United States of America is the only major country on earth to not guarantee health care to all people as a human right. So what does it mean? It means that today we have 87 million people who are uninsured or underinsured. What do I mean by underinsured? What does that mean? Means what? No. Underinsured. What does that term mean? Raise your hands. You all know what it means. Let me get some more hands. Yeah, gentlemen there. Yeah, stand up, sir. Yeah. Right? All right. What else does it mean? Underinsured. Yeah. 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 That's one of the things. It means that technically, and I suspect many of you are in the boat here, you may have insurance, but your deductible may be $5,000 or $10,000, and you don't have the money out of your own pocket to pay for that first $5,000 or $10,000, so you don't go to the doctor when you should. It means you can't afford the co-payment that you're required to pay when you go to a doctor. What a civilized healthcare system means is that anybody in the country can go to any doctor he or she wants, regardless of the income of the family. It means there are no premiums. It means there are no co-payments. It means there are no deductibles. It means there are no out-of-pocket expenses. It means that we cover dental care, that we cover hearing aids and eyeglasses, and home health care. Mostly what it means is you have a healthcare system which is not designed to make billions in profit for the drug companies and the insurance companies. So what we are going to do is to expand Medicare, which now only covers people 65 or older. And over a 4-year period, we're going to go from 65 down to 55, and down to 45, down to 35. And in 4 years, every man, woman, and child in this country will have quality health care as a human right without having to pay out their life. And it means that we're going to take on the drug companies and stop their greed. Now, you don't want to hear me go on about the drug companies because you'll be here all day. But this is what I want to say. I want you all to think about how it happens that we pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. I went over to Canada about 3 months ago with some people from the Midwest who are dealing with diabetes, they're diabetic. we bought insulin for 1/10 of the price. And that's not unusual. There are many drugs sold in America. Same exact drug, same company, but 10 times as much, 15 times, 5 times, whatever it is. We're going to put an end to that. America will not pay the highest prices for it. And then there is another issue out there of enormous consequence. And here at the University of South Carolina, it's appropriate to talk about. And that is education in general. How are we doing on education in this country? All right, who wants to tell me why? Raise your hand. I see you right there. Yes. Yep. Green shirt. Yeah. Got a mic. We got a mic there? Not dealing with bullying. Okay, that is an issue. Yes, ma'am. What? Systemic racism within education. That's right. Underfunded public school system. And that is a huge issue all over the country, especially bad here in South Carolina, where you got schools who are completely underfunded. You have teachers who are leaving the profession because they're not earning decent wages. And you have kids who are underperforming big time. So what do? How do we create, in the wealthiest nation in the history of the world, how do we create an education system that we are proud of? First of all, any psychology majors here are psychologists? All right, what are the most important years of human development? What are they? 0 to 3, 0 to 4. That's right. And that's, how we develop intellectually, emotionally, as human beings. How are we doing with pre-K and child care in America? We're doing prolifically, all right? Bottom line is that at a time when everybody understands those first years are pivotal in terms of what happens to us later in life, we have a system in which working class families cannot find good quality, affordable childcare. So if we love our children, we are going to bring about high quality, universal, affordable childcare. Yes, we are going to invest in our kids. And we have a public education system which in many, not all, but many parts of this country is in deep trouble. And here is, when we talk about changing national priorities, what it means is that I believe, that education is essential to all of us as human beings from the first day that we're born to the last day that we are alive. And that means if we respect and understand the importance of education, we respect educators who are teaching our kids. Our educational program invests billions in Title I schools, the low-income schools in America. We are going to invest heavily in schools to help them deal with kids who have disability issues. We are going to raise teachers' salaries in America to at least $60,000 a year. Now, right now, there are a lot of bright young people who are thinking, yeah, it might be a cool idea to become an educator. But they're not going to do it because they've got student debt, and they're not going to make it on $35,000 a year. We got to change that. We've got to change that. We desperately need young people to go into education. We need minority members to go into education. So what we are going to do in terms of higher education, two things. And Senator Turner was telling you a moment ago, these are not radical ideas. We're going to make public colleges and universities tuition free. Now, you don't know this, most of you may not know this, but 50 years ago in the United States, some of the great public universities, like the University of California, the University of the City of New York, were virtually tuition free. Am I right, Virginia? All right. So we can have tuition free schools in America 50 years ago. We surely can do it today. Second thing that we're going to do is we're going to cancel all student debt in America. Right now, we've got many, many millions, just 20 minutes ago, a minute before I got up here, talked to a young woman who's going to graduate, I think, right here, university here, $50,000 in debt. And there are people who can graduate with a lot more debt than her. All right? And that means when you get $50,000 in debt, every month you're going to have to be paying off your debt. And that means you may not be able to get married and have kids live with you. You can't buy a home, you can't buy a car. I don't think that people should be punished in the way that we are punishing people today for the crime of getting a higher education. Getting an education is not a crime to be punished. And here is what thinking out of the box. When I say this, many of my critics, and they are all over the place on every editorial page in America, they say, well, that sounds really good, but how are you going to pay for that? Very expensive. All right, so I'll tell you how we're going to pay for it. We're going to pay for it through a modest tax on Wall Street speculation. Making public colleges and universities tuition-free, canceling all student debt, plus about $1.4 trillion over a 10-year period, having a modest tax on Wall Street speculation will bring in $1.6 trillion. All right? And what we have got to get used to, this is what we have got to get used to. Not easy. This is thinking outside the box. When Trump and his friends gave the 1% and large corporations a $1 trillion tax break a couple of years ago, nobody asked how you're going to pay for it. That's okay. It's the rich and the powerful. They are entitled to even more money. What's the problem? 11 years ago, we bailed out the crooks on Wall Street who destroyed the economy. We gave them $700 billion from the Treasury and trillions in zero-interest loans. Not a problem. It's Wall Street. Those are the masters of the universe. They are gods on earth. Of course we should bail them out. But if you are a working class kid struggling with a $50,000 debt, oh, we can't afford to bail you out. Well, I think it's time we change the priorities in this country. In terms of who we are. Now, we have a president, I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this president. Not worth it. Except to say we are going to beat him in November. That's all I'm saying. But we have a president who thinks that climate change is a hoax. Now, you know, I disagree with Trump on everything, but when he says that, that's an understatement. But when he says that, and when others say it as well, they are doing an incredible disservice to their own children and their grandchildren and future generations. It is a horrible thing to turn your back on the great threat that this globe, not just the United States, the whole global community is facing. So let me tell you not only that climate change is not a hoax, but that what the scientists are telling us, and I don't mean to get you too nervous, but what the scientists are telling us, the people who know the most about this issue, is they have underestimated the severity and the degree to which climate change is wreaking havoc, not only on our country, but on the entire world. The ice caps are melting faster than they had anticipated. The ocean is warming more rapidly than they had anticipated. That means that sea levels are rising at a faster rate. And it is altogether likely, if we do not get our act together, that cities like Charleston and Miami and New York City will be severely underwater. Parts of those cities will be underwater. Right now, you know, Venice, Italy, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, underwater. You are aware that in Houston, Texas, we had an unprecedented rainstorm that flooded that city. You all know what happened recently, a couple of years ago in Puerto Rico, in the Bahamas. You understand what happened to Hurricane Sandy that hit the East Coast. You know that right now in Australia, in California, unprecedented amounts of wildfires. I was in Paradise, California. That town mean anything to anybody? Paradise was the town where a few years ago literally wiped out by a terrible fire that killed 86 people, destroyed almost all the buildings in that town. There are more fires right now than at any time in history. You're looking at more drought. You're looking at more flooding. You're looking at, according to the United Nations, tens of millions of people being climate refugees, forced to leave their land because they can't grow crops, they can't find drinking water. So we are facing a huge threat to this planet. And we are going to have to act in an unprecedented way. And anybody who tells you that climate change is a hoax, you tell them that they are turning their backs on their own kids, their own children, and their own grandchildren. So what we have got to do is have the courage to take on the greed of the fossil fuel industry and to tell them that their short-term profits are not more important than the future of this planet. And I'm proud to tell you that we have introduced the most sweeping climate change legislation in the history of this country. Okay? And what we are doing is as rapidly as humanly possible moving this country away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energies. And we are going to invest heavily in wind and solar, and states like South Carolina should be leading the country in terms of solar energy. Lastly, I want to say a word on another issue that is on everybody's mind, and that is the very broken and racist criminal justice system that exists in this country. And again, I want you to think outside of the box. Just take a step out and ask yourself, how does it happen that in the wealthiest country on earth, we have more people in jail than the other country? China is 4 times our size in population. It is a communist, authoritarian country which does not tolerate dissent very well. We got more people in jail than China has. So, when you look at the issue, it is clear that we should be investing in our young people in jobs and education. That means that we have teachers and support staff and mentors who make sure that kids are not dropping out of school, are making sure that kids get the education they need and the job training they need to succeed in the world out there and earn a decent paycheck. It makes more sense to me to be investing in our young people in jobs and education than jails and incarceration. Number two, many of you don't know it. We got 2 million people in jail today. 400,000 of them, about 20% of them, are in jail having not been convicted of anything. Do you all know that? They are in jail, they were arrested, they weren't convicted. They can't get out of jail because they can't afford cash bail. That's an issue here in South Carolina. And you got absurd situations where people get arrested, maybe they're driving too fast, they get a speeding ticket, they don't pay the ticket goes up, can't pay the ticket, they end up in jail because they're too poor to pay the damn ticket. And they can't get out of jail. All right? We are going to end cash bail in America. People should not be in jail. We're going to end private prisons and private detention centers. Corporations should not be making money imprisoning fellow Americans. We are going to reform penitentiaries and prisons in America so people are treated like human beings, not animals. We are going to make sure that when people leave jail, they have the education and job training they need in order to be reintegrated into civil society. So they don't get back into jail. And I'll tell you what else we're going to do. We're going to end the so-called war on drugs. We are going to legalize marijuana in every state in America. We are going to expunge the records of those arrested for possession of marijuana. And here's something else that we're going to do, which is a fairly radical idea, but it's an idea that I didn't come up with. I talked to a lot of my friends in the African American community. This is what they said, and I think it makes sense. They said when marijuana is legal, what we don't want to see is a handful of large corporations controlling the industry. And that is what is happening. That's what's happening in states that have legalized marijuana. You go to states like Nevada and California where it's legal, Colorado, there's these big billboards, buy marijuana, buy this, buy that, controlled by a handful of corporations. So what I think is that what we should do is provide an opportunity for those people who have been hurt the most by the so-called war on drugs. Those people who have ended up in jail because of the war on drugs. And I'm talking about the African American community, the Latino community, Native American community. Those are the people who have disproportionately been impacted by the war on drugs. And we have in our criminal justice plan efforts to provide billions of dollars in support to help small businesses in the minority community. Those affected the most get into the legal marijuana business. So let me conclude by just telling you what you already know. We are living in incredibly dangerous times, and we need to respond accordingly. And that means we need to involve our family, our friends, our co-workers in the political process. And if anybody sits around and moans and groans about student debt and they can't afford college, they're making $8 an hour and they can't get by, tell them to stop complaining, stop moaning and groaning, and do something about it. Donald Trump and his friends think they're going to win re-election by dividing the American people up based on the color of our skin or where we were born or our sexual orientation or our religion or whatever else. What we are going to do is exactly the opposite. We are going to bring our people together, black and white and Latino, Native American, Asian. We're going to bring our people together around an agenda that works for all of us, not just the 1%. And the way we are going to win this election is by having the largest voter turnout by far in the history of the United States of America. And I say to the young people here, your generation is the most progressive young generation in the history of this country. You should be proud of that. But your generation does not vote in high enough numbers. If young people voted at the same percentage level as people 65 or older, we could transform this country. So today I am here at the University of South Carolina to ask for your support to help me win the primary here in South Carolina. I am asking for your help to win the Democratic nomination. And I'm asking for your help to defeat the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country. But I am asking even more. I'm a tough guy here, I'm asking even more of you. Winning is not enough. What we have got to do together, that's the only way it can be done, is not just beat Trump. We got to transform this country. We have got to create an economy and a government that works for all of us, not just the people on top. So brothers and sisters, this is an unprecedented moment in American history. It truly is. And in fact, in world history, because we have to deal with climate change. This is a moment in which people cannot throw up their hands in despair. They cannot get depressed. They cannot just turn the TV off. That's not enough. They must be actively involved in the political process. 50 years ago, 50 years from now, or 100 years from now, people will be looking back on this election. And let us make sure we do the right thing. Thank you all very much.